Hello, good and faithful people of the Church of the Mediator. It's Father Dale. I hope that you are well whenever and wherever it is that you hear this message this week. What is your favorite photograph? Or maybe you have a box full of favorite photographs or an album full of favorite photographs, but what is your favorite photograph? I want you to think about that and hold that in your memory for a moment. There's lots coming up here at the Church of the Mediator. It's August 1st today, which means that the end of summer is nearby and we are moving very quickly into planning for the fall. I want to mention to you, of course, that this Sunday is a normal summer Sunday here at the Church of the Mediator. We'll continue in John's Gospel, 6th chapter, talking about Jesus as the bread from heaven, manna in the wilderness, reading from that part of Israel's journey as well. Then next Tuesday, August 6th, I want to remind you that at noon we will celebrate the Holy Eucharist for the Feast of the Transfiguration, one of the major feasts of our church's calendar. I hope you'll plan to come out to celebrate in the chapel with me as well. Tossed and Found is coming up this month. We are celebrating the Feast of St. Mary the Virgin on Sunday, August the 18th in Norristown at 1 p.m. St. John's Church with our Hispanic community and the community of the Cathedral. Combined communities, mariachi. Everyone is welcome to that. Food and celebration, of course, afterwards. Blessing of backpacks for both students and teachers will be on Sunday the 18th during the 9 a.m. liturgy, and then we'll be looking towards our kickoff Sunday on Sunday, September the 15th. We will kick off our program year and set forth. You will see in your happenings this week, there are lots of things, announcements of things coming up, including those things that I just mentioned, but also announcements about the upcoming music program, including an evensong on Sunday, September 22nd at 5 p.m., and also some events for youth this August, including a trip to Dorney, trip to the zoo. So all of those things are coming up. We're doing our thing here at the Church of the Mediator. The Refugee Center just had their last class of their summer session today, and they will be in hiatus for a few weeks until September when they'll come back as well. But it's a busy time for us. And I hope that you're feeling energized and that you're ready to roll for the fall and to not only, of course, celebrate this community of faith, which is so incredible, but also to go forward proclaiming God's redeeming love in this world and reconciling the world together with God, to God's self and to one another. So your favorite photograph, I have a number of favorite photographs, but probably one of my favorites is a photograph of me. It's actually a pair of photographs, one of me and my mom and one of me and my dad when I was probably 1.5 or 2, taken probably at JCPenney's. You remember back in the day when you'd go to JCPenney's to have your family photographs taken, and you'd have the whole sitting and all of that good stuff. But those are some of my favorite photographs. I ask that because photographs in many ways are similar for us as Christians to the ways that we use iconography, icons. I just this day was opening my home screen, and in the upper right-hand corner came up a photograph of my nephew Ephraim, and it made me think about Ephraim, and it reminded me of my care for my nephew Ephraim, right? A photograph is a powerful means of us connecting with someone who may or may not be in our presence at the moment, but they are in a way connected to us through the photograph, even though the photograph is not them. The same thing is true of icons. I'm here in the nave because, of course, we have our icon processional crucifix that was painted by Peter Pearson, and the blank, the board on which it was painted was made by the Cottrells, and it's a lovely representation of the crucified and yet also risen Christ, and of Mary and of St. John at the cross. It's very classic in its Greek iconography. But also, as I had mentioned to you the other day, we've had 2 new icons coming into our collection here at the Church of the Mediator. This smaller icon given to us by Jack and Jean Moody, which is an icon of St. Francis of Assisi. You can see him in his Franciscan robe. He's discalced, so he doesn't have any shoes on. You can see that he's showing the stigmata, and he's holding a book. St. Francis of Assisi, who is one of our patrons here at the Church of the Mediator. As you know, we have our statue, our little shrine to St. Francis of Assisi out along the lawn, which was put up in memory of Robert Knott Merriman, the rector, up through the late 40s here at the Church of the Mediator. And then this new icon that I had asked Peter Pearson to paint for us, which is an icon of the resurrected Christ. And you see here, Jesus is in the midst, kind of enshrouded by light, almost as if he's bursting forth into resurrected life. At his feet are the doors or the gates of hell, which have been broken open, and death has been vanquished, and he is risen. Alleluia. These icons, of course, are a means of reminding us, just like a photograph, is able to connect us, to remind us, to bind us together with something that may not be immediately present to us, to serve as a way of focusing our minds and our hearts. And yet they are not the thing themselves. Like, I don't hold this icon of St. Francis of Assisi and think, well, this is St. Francis. It's not. We don't worship this image of St. Francis. We see with this image of St. Francis a connection to the saint himself, but also a way of being directed in our spirituality, of being connected to the communion of saints. The same thing with the icon of the risen Christ or the icon of the crucified Christ. This is not Jesus himself, this board and this paint, beautiful as it may be, of course. It is a means, a tool through which I am able, if I contemplate it, to be able to connect with the risen Christ. There's a big controversy over imagery in the church in the 700s, 726 it started, and people fought back and forth about whether or not the church should allow the use of imagery, of paintings, of statues. As you know, many places in Roman Catholic parishes, in Lutheran congregations, and Anglican and Episcopal parishes, there are also statues as well as two-dimensional images such as icons, which are what our Orthodox, our Greek and Roman, Russian Orthodox siblings use more prominently. There was big controversy called the Iconoclastic controversy in the 700s through the early 800s. And that called together the Seventh Ecumenical Council, where a bunch of bishops and folks got together and hashed it out whether or not we should, as Christians, venerate, use icons and images as a means of connecting ourselves and forwarding our spirituality. And the church agreed that icons do serve an important spiritual purpose for us, even though we don't see them as the thing themselves. It is a means, it's a tool through which we can be connected with God and be connected with the saints and all of those important things. So my friends, I'm grateful that we are able to continue to add to our collection of icons, of statues, of beautiful glass, stained glass. We have iconography in our stained glass, of course, you know. We have our Stations of the Cross. Visual things are incredible tools and means to be able to connect with the spiritual for many of us. That's not true for everybody, of course, but it's true for many of us. And so I hope as you think about your favorite photograph, when you come to this space on Sunday, that you'll also see the way that these icons are like that photograph, a means of connecting with the risen Christ, with the crucified and risen Christ, the saints, with those who may not immediately be present to us visually, but that are connected to us always through that amazing mystery that is the church. Blessings, my friends. I will see you on Sunday.